everyone, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Beautiful You. I am your host Avantika. In today's episode, we are going to talk about 23 things I learned in 2023. So, I sat down one day and I was looking back at the year and I realized that this year has been insane in terms of growth, opportunities, everything that has happened. I had some really never thought about wins and all that stuff. And I got to realize that I've learned a lot. And I figured, let's make an episode on the things that I have learned. And I hope that this resonates with you guys. It's December already, and 2023 has flown by so quick. So, yes, this is a list of 23 things that I learned in 2023, and I hope this resonates with you to some extent and that you get value out of it. The first thing would be I'll be using my phone to look into it. And yeah, so the first thing is when someone says you deserve better, believe them. So I have been dating a little here and there this year, and I have had encounters when people would be like, "Oh, but you deserve so much better than me," and I would be like, maybe they have self-esteem issues, right? I'm a psychology major, so I want to be as empathetic and as compassionate. I want to be able to, help people see through it, through the negative self belief that they have about themselves. So I was like, so I would always think, oh, maybe it's just one of those instances where they just have low self esteem, maybe. So let me help them through it. But that's not the case. If someone says you deserve better, believe them. That I always believe that if you think that I deserve better, then maybe show up and be better, because that's what I would do if I think I'm with someone. And if I think that the person deserves better, and if I can give them the better, I'll tell them and I'll show up, I'll do better, right? So that was one of my lessons that I learned. Expectations without communication will lead to disappointment. I learned this year that, and accepted the fact that no matter how close you are with someone, there is no way that they can read your minds. There's no way they will fully understand what is going through your head. You need to be able to um, communicate your expectations to them in a way that reaches out to them, right? So when you're expecting something from someone without communicating about them, it often leads to disappointment. You are the one who gets disappointed, you're the one who feels bad about it at the end of the day, you're the one who feels unfulfilled. So it's always best to communicate your needs, your wants to the other person, regardless of the relationship it is, be it platonic or romantic. And then if the other person chooses to act on it, that's on them. The third one would be you're on your own, and then there is immense power in that. So this year I moved out in for about 3 4 months. I moved out of my house and I was living on my own, and it truly made me realize how you're on your own. Like, especially turning 21 in December, I am growing up, and that you would have emotional support, you would have people who love you, you would have people who are there for you. But at the end of the day, everyday battle that you have to deal with is your own. And there's one way you can see that, oh, you're on your own, you're the only one who's there for yourself, and feel bad about it. Or you can understand how much power that it holds, because all of your wins, all of your losses would be your own. How cool is that? Like, everything that I'm building right now, everything that is happening in my life, every good thing that is happening is because of me. But also every bad thing that is happening is also because of me, and I need to take accountability for that, which is another point that I'll come across. The next one is, I forgot what point. I think this is the fourth or the fifth one. You're allowed to rest without feeling guilty or making up for it. This year, honestly, has been very monumental in making me realize how crucial it is to rest. I have been a workaholic for 2 years. I've been very guilty of indulging in workaholic tendencies a little too hard. I would always, be proud that sometimes if I'm working for, let's say, 16 hours a day, I'm not kidding, 16 hours a day, I would consider that to be a good day. I would consider that to be a great day. And I would want to repeat that again and again and again, where I'm sleeping for 3 to 4 hours a day only. And I thought that that was very optimal. That was what was best for me. And then I realized that it's just something that my body is used to. It's just something that I've train myself to be, to like, right? But what about the other side of the coin? What about if I have a more balanced life, but I also work on my ambitions and my goals as just as much? And I started doing that. In therapy, we call this thing called moments of nothingness. My therapist told me that this is a generational issue where we always strive to go for the more right thing, the more greater thing, like the more like a better thing, right? The next right thing that you have to do. And it's always a competition. We always find ourselves in this rat race, even though we don't want to be. And yeah, that fuels the workaholic tendencies. And then he told me, find activities which won't be productive or which won't help you in any way, like be it financial, be it emotional, be it social. Any activities that are not productive in the sense, or is not the amount of time and investment, the amount of investment that you do of time, it's not going to surmount to something greater. And it was very hard for me to do that, because I was like, oh, what if I'm going to the gym? Then that's a good break for me. Sure, but I'm also expecting results from it. So it's a productive activity. Something that has to be, what about like if I write poems and I perform? So that is, I'm hoping to make one connection at least out of a social gathering that I do. So I'm always like striving for something that surmounts to something else, right? So it was very difficult. We came down to mandala coloring. So I occasionally, very rarely, not very rarely, but occasionally, sorry, very occasionally, like color, sit down and just color mandala for a couple of hours. So that is one thing that doesn't help me uh, be productive per se. But we started finding these moments of nothingness. We started to learn, I started to learn how to take life at a slower pace. And I honestly love it now. Like I honestly would advocate for rest and would advocate for slow days, and that you don't, like 16 hours, working 16 hours a day sometimes might be necessary, but it does not have to be the need. You can be ambitious and have a work life balance. You can work on your goals and learn to rest without feeling guilty for it. The next one would be, don't run away from emotions. So this year in September, some things happened, and I came across some really like ugly emotions that I didn't think I would feel. And without getting into too much details of it, it I ran away from emotions for about 2 weeks, and then I realized that's not what I want to do. I realized that's not the kind of a person that I want to be. This is not the kind of a arc that I want to live in. So yeah, I learned quickly that you can't run away from emotions. Don't run away from emotions, because they're gonna come up to you at some point or the other. You need to face through it. The only way that you can get through an experience is to get through it. You can't skip it. There are no shortcuts to it. So that was one good lesson that I learned. Let me see if I missed anything so far. Okay. The next one is, don't look for a person who is right for you. Look for someone who wants to be right for you. Now, this one, I won't lie, I learned it from Jay Shetty's book, Eight Rules of Love. And he talked about how there is no person who will ever be the one who's right for you. You need to find someone who wants to be right for you, who wants to, you know, show up on despite their flaws, or because of them. They want to show up every single day for you. They want to do better. They want to be the partner that you deserve, stuff like that. So someone who wants to be right for you, look for that person, not for someone who is right for you, because there's no single person there. You will always find some sort of a, you know, um you might find you might find something which is wrong with them. You might get uncomfortable with the intimacy, with the closeness, because that happens a lot. You might get scared of the commitment, and you might run away. You might be the person who runs away too. So it's like, you won't find everything that is perfect about someone, because humans are inherently flawed. And yeah, it's always about finding someone who wants to be right for you, and wants to show up for you, wants to take care of you, wants to love you, wants to be there for you. So yeah, I hope you find that. The next one would be, showing up for yourself every day is hard, but the pain of discipline is much better than pain of regret. I know there's some quote about the same, and I've just paraphrased it. But the thing that I want to focus on is, Showing up for yourself every day is hard, and how crucial that is. Like, if honestly, if it was easy, everyone would have done it, and not everyone does it. So, yeah, you need to stand out by doing something that not everyone does. Showing up for yourself is so hard sometimes. So, for those who are new listeners, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 2 when I was 17. And it's a disorder that I have to live with every single day. And I also run a team of about 25 plus volunteers right now. So it's a lot of work that I do. Apart from that, there is always some sort of a project going on, stuff like that. I'm a full time student as well. And it's like, considering everything all at the same time, it gets a little difficult to always show up despite my episodes. Sometimes I might be going through a depressive phase, but I still have to show up every day. And my showing up, my 100% will look different on different days. Sometimes I might show at my 60, I might show at my 40, I might show at my 90, but I have to show up every single day. So, because your everyday habits are the ones who will generate results for you. Your everyday habits is what um lead up to whatever like goals you want to accomplish. You can't just think yourself into accomplish those goals. You need to you need to work hard. You need to show up for yourself. You need to do that. And I've been showing up for myself every day for the last couple of years. This is why today I'm where I am, and I'm very proud of that. But yeah, the journey never ends. I still have to show up for myself every single day, especially on the days I really don't want to. And showing up for yourself can be different on different days, though. So, yeah. The next one would be, oh, you won't know half of the time what you're doing, and that's okay. Neither does anyone else. This is something which is so crucial. So, Beautiful You as a brand has grown a lot this year. We went from just a podcast to now we have an Instagram page, we have a newsletter, we have started an events department where we'll be collaborating with a lot of organizations, psychiatrists, psychologists. We'll be having offline events as well. So this has grown a lot, and being a founder of a social, like a mental health care enterprise, it's there comes a lot of doubts with it as well. On some days, I'm just left wondering, what am I doing? Where do I see this going? Let's say 5 years down the line. I do not have an answer for that. Where do I see this going 10 years down the line? I do not have an answer for that. Where I see it going for a year, I can give you an answer for that, but not for a 3 year plan, 5 year plan. And I've recently realized that everyone is just sort of winging it. Everyone is on their path and everyone is just figuring it out. And it's okay if you don't know where you're going. It's okay if you don't exactly know where the results are going to yield. It happens with most of the people around you. Trust me, you're not alone in this. If you feel a little lost, if you don't know where exactly you're going, that's okay. What is important is that you show up for yourself, and what is important is that you do the work that's needed to be done. You have a vision, hold on to it, work your ass off, work hard. And yeah, there's no other shortcut to it. You need to like work your way toward it. But you won't have all the answers. It's okay if you have more questions than answers sometimes, because I have that just means that there's more room for improvement, there's more room for growth, there's more room for learning. And and you can just evolve so much when there's so much growth, right? So always be open for that. So yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, that's okay. Welcome to the club. Boundaries. Next one is boundaries. Tell others how to love you and support you. Maintain them. This one is, I think, this one does not even need an explanation, because um this year I've started to form firm enough boundaries, which resulted in me losing some of my friends as well. I thought like the people who get mad at you forming boundaries are the ones who benefit from you not having them. I'll just repeat it. The people who get mad at you for having boundaries are the ones who benefit from it when you don't have them. And you don't want to be with someone who does not respect your boundaries, who doesn't understand how crucial it is to respect them, to maintain them. And yeah, even from your part, it is very important to be firm, to maintain those boundaries regardless of what happens. So I recently lost out on a couple of friends because I felt like they were taking me for granted. I felt like, they were like the efforts that were being put in weren't as much, and I didn't appreciate it. So I formed a boundary. I was like, this is what I would appreciate, and this is what would make me feel loved. This is what would make me feel supported, or that you're there, that you're, that we are like we are really good friends. And they refused to show up despite me being patient for a couple of months. And then eventually I was like, you know what, that's okay. I can walk out of this. Nothing wrong with it. Sometimes friendships just fall out, and sometimes it's okay when you if you're not friends with someone that you were friends with for a year, and then it's fine. So yeah, maintain boundaries. The ones who would respect them will know how to love you and be there for you. And boundaries just make a relationship better, honestly. That's what I think. All right, the next thing is, most things aren't that deep anyway. There is there's a backstory for it. So, like I'd mentioned in the episode earlier, I moved out of my parents' house, and to um I came back home actually. So for 3 months, I was outside. For 4 months, I was outside. And then I realized that this is not worth what is happening. Like, this is not worth losing out on my patience. This is not worth, um, you know, being so uncomfortable and living in a, because I was living in a 2 BHK with 10 people, which is an awful living condition. And yes, I love the freedom that I had, and yes, I enjoyed living alone, stuff like that. But it was also 10 people in a 2 BHK is very uncomfortable. It's very noisy, it's very unhygienic, it's not clean enough, stuff like that. And after making a pros and cons list, after thinking through it, after talking to a few friends, I made the decision to move back home. And it made me think, if I was just moving back home because things got difficult, like, why couldn't I make it work even in that situation? Like, I wanted to make it work even when the situation got difficult. And it made me think, oh, am I just a quitter? Like, am I just quitting things because things are difficult? And the thing is, it's not that deep. Like, if I move back home and it doesn't work out, I'll move out again. It's fine. I'll move out to a better place. I tried living at some place for 3, 4 months. I generally tried giving my best and it didn't work out. That's fine. Move back in, move home back. Like, that's fine. It's not that deep anyway. So that thing I learned, that most things aren't that deep anyway, through that experience. The next one is, you can be ambitious without being a workaholic. I've already explained this, what I meant by it. You can have rest days, you can enjoy a good work life balance and be ambitious. Ambition and I will always go hand in hand, but this time moving forward, I'll be doing it at a pace that allows me to breathe more, which is so important for your well-being. So yeah, the next one is, change is hard, so is staying in one place hard. Choose your hard. This year, I am honestly not gonna lie, has been one of the best years of my life, because in the sense that I've just learned so much, in the sense of growth, it has been one of the best years. Because, and I have changed a lot. Like, the Avantika that I was at in September isn't who I am right now when I'm recording this episode in November. The Avantika that I was, let alone in October, isn't the same anymore. So the person that I was last year, I wouldn't have dreamt of the things that happened this year because of me showing up consistently and doing the work that was needed to be done. It's just insane. And yeah, it's I'm very grateful. That is how I would put it. I lean into gratitude quite often, every day actually. And yeah, it's everything that has been happening. It's I know that I've made it happen, but at the same time, I'm just grateful for the universe for making it happen. I'm grateful for every single member in my team who is willing to, put in their efforts and time and energy into making beautifully what it is today. So yeah, it's just lots of gratitude. The next point is, rests can be beautiful too. I've already talked about it a lot. So yeah, it's rests can be beautiful too. So I have been resting a lot. Sometimes I just take it slow and I'm like, am I wasting my time? But I'm not. I'm just like, your life shouldn't always be chasing your goals. That's not all your life should be. Because okay, so I'll share this one question in therapy that we tackled is, one of the things which, when we were trying to work on my workaholic tendencies, it was, my therapist asked me, if one day you were ripped off of all your achievements, all your work, what would make you you? And that's such a loaded question, right? I struggled with it because I was like, I have no clue. If my work and my achievement were ripped off of me, I don't know what would make me me. I don't know what I would bring to the table. And then I sat down and I made a list of things that I like about myself, which aren't work related, which aren't like, oh, I'm a good leader. That's work related. Let's not do that. Or I have good time management. That's again work related for me. Let's not add that. But I just made a list. So I think I came across 17 or 18 traits that I have, that I like about myself, which made me realize that I'm so much more than my work. I'm so much more than the achievements that I have, the ambitions and the goals that I'm put in. And I realized how important relationships are as well in life. So it's, your life shouldn't always be about chasing the next goal, because one day you might not function at the most optimal, and you might not be as functional as you are when you're younger, right? But that doesn't make you any less of a human being. So yeah, it's about finding what makes you you, that is not defined by the work that you do. The next one is, as you get ahead in life, a lot of your own friends will be the ones who will want to bring you down. Be mindful of who you let in. This is one of the things which is so important because, like I said, I had a few friends actually, um, that I would share a lot of things with. I would talk about my work, my achievements, my the things that have happened. And I recently slowly started sensing a shift in their um, body language. I started sensing a shift in how they respond to the things that are happening, and I realized that they started to get jealous of it. They weren't particularly. They started to use a certain language which I didn't appreciate because it didn't feel very supportive at all. So I started to realize how when you get ahead, when you start climbing the ladder, there will be a lot of your own friends who would want to bring you down, which honestly is a very sucky realization, but it's very common that happens. It is what it is. And it made me very mindful of who I let in. So I'm very careful of who I let in into my social circle. Who I'm like, I have a lot of acquaintances, but I don't have a lot of friends. The really close friends that I have, they're very like I can count them on my hand, sort of a thing. And yeah, I'm very careful of who I spend my most of my time with, because energies do exchange, and I just want to be sure of where I spend my energy with. The next one talks about energy. It's you're a limited resource. Be mindful of where you spend your energy. So this one is again something that I learned in therapy. So because of bipolar, I experience these episodes time and again, right? And one thing that you need to know about bipolar is it's a mood disorder. And what happens with mood disorders is that your energy levels are very fluctuating. They are very proportional to your moods. So yeah, they fluctuate a lot with your mood swings, and it's something which is not really in your control, but something that you have to be mindful of. And so the way that I would function when I'm going through a depressive episode is very different from how I would function when I'm going through hypomania, let's say, or if I'm doing well, if I'm having a stable mood, the way that I would function then is also very different. So my therapist talked about how you're a limited resource. Your energy levels and everything are very limited in what you do. So you have to be mindful of where you spend your energy in. So this is something which helps me living with bipolar um well enough, and helps me with managing bipolar with everyday life that I live. The next one is people will hurt you and you will hurt people. The key is taking accountability. This one is so important because I have hurt some people through the whole dating process, where you sometimes we will get invested in you and sometimes you're not reciprocative of it, or like you don't feel the same way, right? And that's okay. Or sometimes you get invested in someone and they don't feel the same way, and that's okay too. So I've noticed that no matter what happens, it's not even just dating, but just in general, people will hurt you and you will also end up hurting some people. And that's just a part of it. Like, that's just a part of life. That's that's what happens. And the key here is to take accountability for the hurt that um happened, stuff like that. So you just have to be very careful with it. The next one is people management is one of the most important skills you'll ever develop. Invest a lot of time learning and improving it. So I do I did realize this year that I love managing people. It's very fun. I love having something of my own. I love um, running something of my own. And it's, I won't lie, being in a position where you're responsible for so many people is a little difficult. But people management is a very crucial skill that you will develop throughout your life. It's something that you always learn. You keep on learning about it. So the key here is to, honestly, the key here is to keep keep being curious about it, keep learning about it, keep observing and taking notes of those observations and execute them. Whatever you're learning, executing is very important. So people management is one of the important skills that you'll develop, which I've been learning and executing and observing. I'm very curious about it and I'm always open to learning about it. So yes, invest a lot of time because this will be very fruitful, be it in any position that you go. I'm still an undergrad student, so I'm not able to utilize these skills that I'm learning right now in a corporate setting yet, but I know that it will be helpful for me down the line, just a year down the line, because um you can learn any hard skill that you have, but people management is one of the soft skills which are so crucial and not everyone can do it well. So yeah. Sorry. The next one is lean on discipline when you don't have the motivation to do something. This is so important and this goes hand in hand with showing up for yourself every day. There have been so many times where I just refuse to go to the gym because like everything, like I have good reasons to not go to the gym. Maybe I had a really tiring day, maybe I had a really hectic week and I'm just tired and I'm exhausted, but it's, or you're just not feeling well, sometimes you're low on energy, and and those are very valid reasons to, let's just skip the gym. But it's like the way that you show up for yourself, you do it even when you don't feel like it, because you're leaning on to discipline even when your motivation is really, really, really low. Like I said, your everyday habits are the ones which will determine if you achieve your goals or not, how your life takes a turn. It's, it's because it is very dependent on how you think, feel, and act every single day. So lean on to discipline when you don't have the motivation to do something. Fear or anxiety and gratitude don't go hand in hand. Tap more into gratitude and you're fearless. So I've learned one thing is that fear, what happens with anxiety and gratitude, when you're feeling a lot more anxious about something, it means that you're, experiencing low amounts of gratitude. When you're experiencing low amounts of gratitude, it's because you're higher on gratitude. um Wait, did I say that right? Oh, I'm confused. Let me like begin again. So basically what happens, what I've noticed is anxiety and gratitude are two things which don't go hand in hand. If you're high on anxiety, you need to tap more into gratitude, which will help you get your anxiety levels to a lower level. So one thing that I practice, one thing I notice is that whenever I'm fearful of certain decisions, certain outcomes, certain consequences, whenever I'm a little scared about what will happen, or if I'm anxious about certain thing, I notice that, oh, I'm not tapping into gratitude well enough. It's something that is happening and I need to like dwell into gratitude more. I need to be more gratitude, more grateful for something that is happening. And when I tap into gratitude more, my anxiety and my fear automatically reduces. So this is one of the practices that I do a lot. The next one is surround yourself with people whose ambition scares you, of course, in a good way. I have had the pleasure and an honor to meet some of the most ambitious people out there. And it was, honestly, it keeps you fueling as well. It keeps you going as well. It keeps you going harder. And it is one of the best things that have happened, because when you surround yourself with other people, you notice that others are dreaming big as well, and you're allowed to dream big. You're allowed to see where it goes. You're everything is so much more beautiful when you're allowed to dream big. And when you're surrounding yourself with people who are much more ambitious than you, or just as ambitious if not more, you realize you're not your own. You're not alone in this. You attract the tribe and you feel a part of the community. You feel like you belong here. So yeah, all of that fuels into your ambition even more and keeps you going. The next one is, not everyone wants to be comfortable and grow, but that's okay, it's their thing. That is very true, because not everyone wants to evolve. Not everyone has the energy or the capacity. to grow. Sometimes people just want to stay in one place, and that is okay. That is their call. That is something that they wish to do. So there's nothing wrong with it for them, but it's your decision if you want to be associated with someone who does not want to grow or wants to stay in one place. I personally would like to have my close friend circles where we are all growing and learning about things. I want my friend circle to be a group of curious, like minded people who are learning new things and growing as we go. So I personally wouldn't be very close with someone who is only like stuck in one place, right? But if some people choose to be that, it's okay, it's their thing. The next one is you can do anything you put your mind to, you're the power. That is so true. So like I said, the things that happened in 2023, nothing of that sort I would have imagined in 2021 or 22. And these things I just winged it as I went forward with it. So it's like, oh, I want to do this. Thought about it for a couple of weeks, thought about the logistics. How is it possible? Let's make it work. And then I put my mind, body, and soul into it, started working towards it, and then something would happen. So yeah, it's insane. It's insane what has all happened. And you can genuinely do anything that you put your mind to. You need to show up for yourself and put in the hard work, but nothing is impossible if you can dream it, if you can envision it. I always think about it this way: if you have a vision for something, if you have a vision even for a split second, hold on to it. If it's coming to you, it's coming to you for a reason. Hold on to it, work on it, and nothing is ever really impossible. You got this. The last one is you have got time, breathe. This one is so important because I in the last 2 years I was always rushing. So I won't lie. When I was in my first year of undergrad, I'm in my third year now. So in my first year of undergrad, I had my life planned out till I was like 25, 26. I knew exactly in what year I would be doing what, and I had everything planned out. I knew what I was doing, what I wanted to do. So I was like 18, and I had like a 5 year, 7 year plan, and which is insane because nothing is working out according to the plan. So because I'm learning new things, then there has to be enough space for flexibility and for new things as well. And yeah, I was rushing into it as if I had no time, as if I had to make it work, but that's just not true. I am turning 21 now. I think by the time this episode is out, I would have been 21. And I want to achieve all these things that I have in mind, but at the same time I don't have time. I know I got this. I know that there's nothing wrong with I'm taking a gap year after my undergrad, which was a scary decision for me because it's like, oh, what if you're missing out on a year? But it's like it's just a year, chill. If you're going to live till like 80, 1 year is nothing. I don't have to do my masters at 21. I can do my masters at 22 or 23 or 24. That's okay. You have time, breathe, just exist, just live, and do what makes you happy. You have time. You Society makes you, well, like wants to make you believe that you're running out of time and wants you to like rush into all of these things, but that's simply not true. So if you've been looking for a sign to just breathe, just be, relax for a second, this is it. That is all. Those are all the 23 things that I learned in 2023. And I hope that you guys got something out of it. I hope that it resonated with you. Thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year's. I will see you next year, or maybe you have one more episode coming out. I don't know about it just yet, but yes, thank you so much. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you who tunes into every episode that we have, who gives me the feedback for every episode that is going on. I'm really grateful. And this year has been insane. This would not have been possible without you guys. So thank you so much. I hope you guys learned something out of this episode. And if you did, I would love to know about your feedback. If you're listening to this on Spotify, if you like the episode, do give us a 5-star review. It helps us reach out to other listeners who might be interested in the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're also on YouTube now. So if you want a video version of it, you can simply go on YouTube. The link will be in the description below. And yeah, if you're listening to this on YouTube, do subscribe, comment down below what you like about the episode. And if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on Instagram at beautifulyou.pod, or you can also email to us. Everything will be in the show notes in the description below. So, yes, thank you so much for tuning in, and Happy New Year, guys. And I hope you have a great end to the 2023, and even a greater start to 2024. Let's get it together. And yeah, thank you. I love you. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.